Hey, this is a training for students who use both a sound field system in the classroom and they also have a device, whether it's hearing aids or a cochlear implant, in which they're getting a direct input from an FM system. So today we're going to be using the Phonak Inspiro microphone, okay, and we have a Phonak Digimaster speaker that would be set up in the classroom, and we're going to just walk through how to successfully use this. When you come into the classroom each day, the first thing you're going to do is find the microphone where the teacher has left it. You're going to turn it on. We turn it on the top. There's a switch here. We're going to turn on the microphone. The screen's going to light up. Okay. Once it's lit up, everything is operating. Your student, depending on the devices they have, could already be automatically connected to the microphone. In some cases, you actually have to manually push a sync button. The button here that says sync, it may say connect on your device. You're going to take the device and hold it 3 or 4 inches from the student's ears, and you're going to push connect or push sync. And you're going to do both sides if the student has 2 devices or just the one side with 1 device. That's going to pair with the student. So once that's done, you want to make sure the student is actually hearing you. This is our bag that we use to help teachers wear the microphone correctly. We put the FM system inside the bag. Here's your microphone. The actual microphone parts are the 2 little dots on the front here. So you want to make sure these are not being covered up. The microphone's not turned around. You want to make sure it's facing out properly. So the easiest way we have found is to take the strings of this bag and you clip them together like this, and you're going to wear the microphone about a fist's distance from your chin. Okay? Now at this moment, the student would be able to hear me, but the sound field system is not on. So we need to come to the sound field system, and there's a switch on the bottom, and just turn it on. So when that happens, the blue light tells me that I am connected. And now we have the amplification to the classroom. While the students in your classroom, you want to use both the sound field system and that it's directly connected to their ears. If at any time you're going to have a private conversation with a student or you have a small group happening, we're going to mute the microphone because the whole class doesn't need to hear that. And the student may not need to hear that. So what we're going to do at that point is you're going to activate your screen, and we're going to push the mute button, which is the microphone in the middle. When we press that, now everything is muted. That's muted. A green light goes on your speaker telling you the system's muted, and you also can see that the microphone has been muted right up here in the top corner. Okay. The student cannot hear you now through their device. Now they can still hear you through the microphone that's on their hearing aids or their implant, but they cannot hear you directly through the microphone. Now, this is when you would have a small group. You're working with your small group. Your students, the student who's hearing impaired would be over here working independently. At any time that you need to say something to the whole group, you want to make sure you activate your microphone. Your blue light comes on. Now you know the student's hearing you as well, and you give your instructions. Because remember, whatever goes through the microphone is going to your student. If it's not going through the microphone, it is not going to that student. We cannot be sure that student is hearing you clearly if it's not going through this microphone. If the student leaves your classroom to go to speech, if they're going to PE, they're going to art, music, you're taking them anywhere, you're transitioning them, the easiest thing is to go to your speaker, turn it off, and then you're going to pass along the microphone to wherever you're going. Now the student is still connected. The speaker is off. The classroom's not connected, but the speaker is still connected to your student. So as you're traveling down the hallway, you can still communicate, give instructions to the whole group. Your student's going to hear you because that student may not hear you if he or she is in the back of the line. When they go to music, you're going to pass off the microphone to the music teacher. Make sure that teacher is wearing it properly. Everyone needs to be wearing the microphone properly. We don't connect it to our clothes. We don't connect it way down here at the bottom. We don't just connect it to one side because this can flip around. Other things, necklaces can get impacted and can cover it and because everything that touches this, the student hears in their ear, and we don't want it to be a distraction. You also want to be mindful If you don't need, the student doesn't need to hear you breathing or talking to mute the microphone if it's not necessary for the student to be hearing you at that time. When the student comes back to your classroom, make sure you go back. He's going to hand you the microphone. You come back, turn your speaker back on, so the whole classroom is amplified once again. So I hope that answers most of your questions. If you have any more questions, make sure you email me at dwilks@shelbyed.org, or you can email our audiologist, L. Alexander, at shelbyed.org. Thank you.